to the money that the TIDs and TIFs are generating. As our auditors said when we were here, the TIDs and TIFs we're managing them properly, and we're doing the right thing with the money that they are generating, which is being put directly back into the infrastructure of those areas. So funneling out the money for a short-term thing to improve the areas of the TIDs and TIFs is, you can just look around town and see what it's doing to the community. I mean, the things that are possible from the result of the TIDs and the TIFs is astronomical. If we didn't have those there, we wouldn't be getting anything done anywhere. And those projects are going to stimulate this economy in this city and keep it moving forward.
Yeah, Davis. This is, the TID and TIF thing has been a long thing, and I've been on for 12 years, my 12th year this year. And we've grown the districts, we've grown the TID districts. We've encompassed more and more of the city. But what happens, and a lot of that activity that's happened, has been because of Walmart generating a large amount of tax for the city. And so Walmart and the area around Walmart, that you'll see a lot of growth in Merrill. And of course, most places want to be near the highway. And so that's why you're going to see it mostly in, not my district, but on this side of town. And so we have golden harvest coming in. And I was told that people come from Wausau, drive way up to Rhinelander because they like what they can get up there. So I'm really looking forward to golden harvest coming into town. That'll be next to the Cup and Cone out here. Then we had one-way collision. You see the big addition. And I heard somebody say, you know what? Now we got 20 buildings sitting over there by the Davis County Market. They just moved a different place in town. Well, if you drove by there, you see that both those buildings have people in there. I think of Auto Deschner's old garage here on East Main. It's sat empty for I don't know how many years. Go by there now. There's a business in there. And what happens is these people are getting money from the city to make improvements, build things. And if you look at it and say, wow, we're giving them a lot of money. But in the long run, they're going to be paying that in taxes, and we'll get the money back more than what we ever gave.
A TID is the actual tax incremental district, and a TIF, the difference between TID and TIF. TIF is the actual money generated from the TID, tax incremental financing. And a TID, when a TID is formed, the assessed valuation of that TID is frozen at that time, so it's valued at $10,000. And after that, any increase in assessment from development in that goes into the TIF, which is the money generated from the additional assessed valuation. So for example, if you look at the Rockbridge Apartments out by Mark, the value of that property was $50,000 before it was made a TID. So that value of the property that goes to the general taxes is frozen at $50,000. Now they put a number of apartment buildings out there that's valued at now over $3 million. The additional revenue that's generated by that additional $3 million goes into the TIF, which goes to pay for other projects. So a Walmart TIF is generating over $1 million a year in TIF money. And if you just drive out on East Main Street, you'll see that $1 million at work. Because all the work out on East Main Street to replace that broken up highway is being paid by TIF money. The bike trail that's going to go from here out to there is being paid by TIF money. $1 million in TIF money was used to repair 3 streets on this side of town last year. 6th Street, 10th Street, and Tillman Street were all replaced by TIF dollars. Not general tax dollars, but TIF dollars. So if you want to see the impact of TIF, just look outside, because as John said, it's everywhere. It's paving streets, it's building bike trails, it's incentivizing other businesses. So yeah, I'm a big TIF advocate. And just so you know, that the assessed valuation of the city went down $10 million last year. Guess what happened in the TIF? The TIF increased the value of $34 million in the last 5 years.
Unfortunately, we're getting toward the end of the night here. This will be the last question submitted by the audience. And go along with the previous question. Please explain the process in applying for and approval of business incentives from the city. Here.
First step is to have a design of what you want to do. And I think some of the things we had on the west side of town were ballyhoos. They had got assistant there for some improvements. We had that wellness center on West Main that they used TIP money for, not this money, this community assessment. The committee is, Sherry Wiki is the director of community development, and then we have Darren Bottle, our building inspector. They look at the plan, eventually it goes to the city plan for final approval and then council. And so there's an application. I think the question was answered earlier by Rob and others here that were up here in front. And so I won't add any more to it.
Go ahead, Tim, next.
The process would be to contact Dave, or probably Dave, to start the process, and to meet with Bill Bielecki and Ken Mall, who work for the County Development Corporation, I believe it's called, and they can assist people through the process. Then the next step of that is they bring their plan to the Redevelopment Authority, RDA, which evaluates that plan, looks at incentives. Every TIF increment that I voted for on the city council cash flow, which meant the amount of money that we were giving the businesses was way less than the increase in taxes that we would receive from those businesses. So basically what's happening is you're giving them back a little bit of their taxes. It's like when Walmart runs their 11% off sale. You pay $1, you get 11 cents back. So basically the same thing's happening in the kids. They pay us $100 in taxes, we give them 11 bucks back. But guess what? We got $89 that we wouldn't have before. Because without those tip incentives, those businesses will not come to town. And I hear people saying, you're spending our tax dollars on the kids. Those are not tax dollars that are coming out of the general tax levy. Those are tax dollars that are actually being generated by those businesses in the tips. And those businesses would not be in those tips if they didn't get a little tip incentive. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Like the other 5 aldermen have all stated in their answer to this question, is come up with a plan, come up with an idea, have the inspiration, be driven, and contact our resources at up at the county, Ken and Bill, and then work with Dave and work through the process of your plan. And these ideas aren't being generated from nothing. They're coming from people are looking around town and seeing the advancements that everybody's making, and they're getting the idea and moving forward. We've got Anna Blair's just moved up to a new building, and things are happening, and it's all generated by the progressiveness of the council currently, and the things that are happening for the community, which is enhancing the rest of the community and everybody else's ideas or expectations of how things operate.
Alderman, we'll be going to you for your 122nd closing statement.
My 122nd closing statement is simply that if you like what's going on in this city, if you like the economic development that's happening, if you like the increase in valuation that's going on, if you like the way the city's going, there's been a great deal of improvement in the city in the last 5-8 years. And that has a lot to do with not only the common council, but a lot to do with the staff that work in the city. The city administrator is very instrumental in bringing a lot of these companies to town. So I think I'd love to stand up here and say, hey, look at me, I brought all this business in here, but actually, I didn't. It's been the city staff, the city administrator, Bill Bielecki, Ken Mall, all working together to get these projects going forward. So we got a pretty good team working, we got a pretty good system going. So I encourage you to vote all 5 of us back in so we can continue to do the good work that needs to be done.
You're last. For my closing statement, I would just like to, thank the city administrator and all the other aldermen for helping me along in my first year to learn. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know. It's been fun. I would love to continue representing the 5th District in Merrill. I seem to think I'm pretty good at it. But I would just love the opportunity to continue to be the alderman. And as everyone has stated multiple times tonight, the direction the city is heading right now and all the development and progress that it's making, it would be a shame to halt that process currently because there's going to be another election here in 8 months or so. And I've only been doing this for 14 months and would like to continue the other 8 and possibly another term after that. So I appreciate your vote if you live in the 5th District. Thank you very much.
As the alderman of the 6th District, I said earlier, and I'll repeat it, that there were 130 boards, or 5, or I don't remember the exact number, of people that signed and said that they wanted to sign a recall for me. And there was an opportunity for somebody in District 6 to take out papers and get 20 signatures to run against me. And you know what happened? No one wanted to do it. It's a wonderful, glorious job. That's why everybody wants to do it. But it is a very good job, and it's a fulfilling job. It's a job that I enjoy doing, but it's time for some young blood. So I hope, I don't know how many 6th District people are here, but I would recommend that if you're very interested in serving the government, you need to do that. Secondly, I would like to say I'm very sorry to see that none of the other people that had said we were so awful even bothered to show tonight. They're empty. They didn't come. I wonder why. It's open to the public. All they would want to do is maybe write something in the paper and say some negative things, get people stirred up and angry. We voted for a 3% increase and there was no follow-up. We'll admit it. We put our pants on one leg at a time, just like you folks do. So we screwed up. And we are putting in position things to do that won't be repeated. So I just wanted to say that. And secondly, I want to just mention the fact I'm running out of time. So I guess I'll stop right there.
17 seconds.
That's good, I'll stop.
Thank you to the library for putting this on and for your time in attending this. Thank you for taking time out of your week. Good evening. My name is Lori Ola, and I am the Assistant Director at the T.B. Scott Library. I'd like to read for you our mission statement for the library, and it kind of sets a tone for why we are here tonight. Serving the Merrill area through traditional and innovative services, T.B. Scott Free Library connects people to their community and the world, promotes literacy and civic engagement, encourages and supports lifelong learning, ensures free and open access to ideas, and provides opportunities for inclusion. So we are focusing this evening on that civic engagement component and how strongly we feel about that here in the Merrill area. We try very hard with the programming that we do put on in the library to provide you opportunities to voice your opinions in a safe environment. And we are doing that here this evening at the Enrichment Center. T.B. Scott Free Library is pleased to host this nonpartisan candidate forum which will enable voters to learn information about the candidates and their positions on issues. I'm working on my part. The library does not support or oppose any political party or any candidate. Candidate literature may not be displayed or distributed in the room during this evening's forum and being held, but may display and distribute outside of the room. At this time, I'm going to introduce to you the individuals that are in charge of this evening. We have Melinda Osterberg, who is going to be our moderator for this evening. And then we have Jeremy Radla, the editor for the Photo News, and he will be taking in the questions that individuals attending this evening filled out on the little index cards. He will go through and sort them to make sure that they're in categories. We initially will have some questions, and then there will be the questions that are written from the audience. And from here, I'm going to have Melinda. She's going to speak to you with more detail on how the evening will go forward.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us this evening. First, some housekeeping. Refreshments courtesy of the library are located in the back. We need water, coffee, cookies. They're there, and I encourage you to help yourself. Restrooms are located to my right by the entrance, so feel free to use those. Oh, way up. Way up. Way up. Okay. Yep. This isn't comfortably close to my mouth. Okay. Thank you. So again, cookies, coffee, water, the back of the room. Restrooms on my right. Please use them as you see fit. As Tim O'Neill stated, all politics are local, and tonight we're fortunate to participate in perhaps the most local of politics. And I want to thank you all for being here. It's great to see this level of engagement in our community. I would like to provide a brief roadmap for the forum. So there are just some general guidelines that the candidates were informed of and that we will be adhering to this evening. All candidates included on the July 15th ballot were invited to participate in this forum. They were notified by email twice, once on June 21st and again on June 24th. They were contacted by phone, and the forum was posted on the Photo News webpage and published in the past 2 weeks' edition of the Photo News. The forum for Districts 1 and 7 will be first, followed by the forum for Districts 5, 6, and 8. There will be a 15-minute break between the 2 forums, so a chance to get up, stretch your legs. Each candidate is allowed 90 seconds for an opening statement. Following the opening statement at the beginning of the forum, the moderator will ask, we'll begin the discussion with 3 pre-selected questions. These questions were generated by myself, Jeremy, and some assistance from the library staff as well. Each candidate will have 120 seconds to answer each question. Our volunteers here on the right will be notifying the candidates when they do reach like the 20-second mark, and then we will be cutting them off at the 120-second mark, just so we're respectful of your time here this evening. As Lori mentioned, written questions were collected at the desk. If you are in need of a pencil or an index card and would like to submit a written question, anyone want one? No. Okay. So as Lori mentioned, Jeremy will be sorting those, categorizing those according to topic, and then we will be asking those after the 3 pre-selected questions. Not that there are that many candidates here, but I will rotate the order in which I ask the questions. So I may go to Paul first, and then Rob, and then Paul, just so that they all get a turn to be first. Each candidate is also allowed 120 seconds for a closing statement. Our first forum officially ends at 7 p.m. and the second forum will officially end at 8 p.m. Okay, previous to this evening, the candidates received some general guidelines for participation, and I wanted to make sure that the audience is aware of all of these guidelines. The candidates for Districts 1 and 7 were required to arrive no later than 5:45. Okay, even closer, okay. Sorry about that. The forums for the candidates for Districts 5, 6, and 8 are required to arrive no later than 7 p.m. No filibustering is allowed. We would expect the candidates to respect the time restrictions. Challenges and personal attacks are not acceptable. If these occur, I will move on to the next candidate. So this is a forum and not a debate. So no personal attacks, negative personal comments are allowed. If the response is too vague or too general, that answer will be accepted as given. Upon written request, by July 18th, if you are interested in receiving a written summary of all of the questions that were asked, we would be happy to provide those. Please notify the library if you would like to receive that. And so that is the end of the rules. I will give this mic back to Paul. And hopefully is this one any better? No? Okay. Well, I would say up there with you too. That one's terrible. Yeah. Okay, well, I will stand up here. I guess I'm right. So, if re-elected, what changes, if any, would you like to see happen within the Common Council and/or decisions made by the Council? If you do not have any changes in mind, what is your personal future vision for the city and those who make decisions on behalf of the city and its residents/business community? Oh, right. Oh, I'm sorry. Yep. Opening statements.
Do you want me to go first?
Yes, that would
Okay. Can everybody hear me in the back? Good evening and thank you for attending the recall election forum. I am disappointed that the recall candidate pool is not in attendance, but as far as my opponent, she told me weeks ago that she would be out of town and not available for this event this evening. Becky and I have met several times since the recall petition was certified. My goal in this was to negotiate some agreements that would lessen the drama and bothersome conditions in the first district. Honestly, who wants to vote middle of the summer or twice in 1 year? But here we are again anyway on a beautiful summer night to discuss the issues associated with the recall. The number 63 is my theme for this recall, but there are 6 things that I don't like about it and 3 that I do like about it. Number 1, of the 6 allegations on the petition for me, 2 are not applicable because there wasn't an office. 3 are not true or generalized so bad they are invalid. And the last one is subject for interpretation. Number 2, the first complaint I filed with the Wisconsin Elections Board was denied along with the rest of the incumbents, and then a hearing that they haven't supported a complaint in 20 years, maybe stop writing them to them. Number 3, precedent principle vote, and why I'm doing this for 7 more months. To me, the recall is really a referendum on how often we want to do recalls in the city of Merrill and how many years we want to have more than one general election. Number 4, negative public relations for Merrill. We don't need any more of that.
Respectfully,
That's it. Good evening and thank you for attending this forum. I'd like to thank the TV Scott Library for hosting the event and the people involved to make it happen. As a veteran and small business owner, I believe in service and giving back to the community. When the housing market collapsed in 2008, the city had a hard time recovering from it. Over the next few years, I became worried that the community would fall into a downward spiral like my hometown has come to. I had to make a difference. I decided I must run for public office to help ensure the community would move forward. So I ran for District 7 Alderman and was elected. I've been elected 3 times since. I pride myself in dedicating the time needed to make the best decisions for the city. Doing the research, meeting with both constituents and city employees to be fully prepared for meetings. I strive to be open and transparent as an alderman. The only agenda I have is to make Merrill a better community for the next generation.
Okay, again, sorry about that. If re-elected, what changes, if any, would you like to see happen within the Common Council and/or decisions made by the council? If you don't have any changes in mind, what is your personal future vision for the city and those who make decisions on behalf of the city and its residents/business community? Rob, we'll go to you first.
The members that we have on the Common Council right now are very diverse. I mean, we have, each council member has their own specialty on what they can give to the community. So changes, I would like to keep everybody that we have on there. The 5 aldermen that are being recalled, they have no personal agendas. Their agenda is Merrill and making Merrill grow, keeping it on the right path. One thing that I strive for this year, and I started this 6 years ago, was to get the lead out of city pipes. We have 3 locks. Last 3 years, I've been told we can't do it. We got to put it off. It got voted out of the budget twice. It's going back in the budget because I want to see this project done. Merrill does not need to end up like Flint, Michigan, and I will not be a representative to hold responsible for it 20, 30 years down the road for someone's health issues.
The changes I would like to make to the Common Council would be to diversify the council a little bit more. That was one of my likes, my opening statement that I didn't get to. And what I mean by that is I don't think that 8, except for 1 relatively old white males, represent the city of Merrill. I think we need some diversity on the council, and one of my likes is the fact that we have 3 women who had pursued this recall initiative, 2 of which were certified and 1 that didn't get her papers in on time. Number 2, I think we need more teamwork on the council and within City Hall, and that's with a young, relatively young, inexperienced mayor. And after the resignation of 2 senior experienced alderpersons, they were replaced by 2 inexperienced alderpersons, and I think we need more training and mentoring of the leaders of the city and more teamwork to get things done, and less distractions and disruptions that take the focus away from us trying to get things done in the city of Merrill, because this past year has been an absolute debacle. And I can further comment on that subject to the amount of time that I have, which is how much time.
30
The
seconds.
I would like the Common Council and City Hall to communicate more effectively, which we've done, I believe, a better job over the past 6 to 9 months by putting things on the website, using social media, having more forums, and listening to the public who comes to the meetings and wants to provide us input and ideas.
Okay, Paul, you will answer this question first, and then to you, Rob. What do you believe is the appropriate responsibility of alders when it comes to city financial matters? How does this role differ from the role of staff? Who do you believe is ultimately responsible for the city's fiscal well-being?
The responsibility of the city's fiscal well-being rests with both the executive and legislative arm of the city, and that's the mayor and the common council. Ultimately, the responsibilities of the alderpersons on the common council and the financial matters are to obviously look at the recommendations that the Personnel and Finance Committee are given to the Common Council during the monthly meetings and vote appropriately on those financial issues and what's in the best interest of the community and what isn't. And the third part of your question, I don't remember.
It was, how does this role differ from